Again, thanks to NTTA, what a fabulous event and a great turnout. I know that there are a lot of people in the vendor hall and out in the hallway networking, which is a great goal, and I think you've succeeded in making that happen. So for those of you who don't know, ONAP was established in 2010, and our efforts are excuse me, to bring the benefits of modern communications to all Native communities. So ONAP, excuse me, assists the Commission in, developing policies and programs to address the lack of adequate communication services on tribal lands nationwide. ONAP plans and leads the Commission's outreach to tribal governments and organizations, and that includes sharing information about our current initiatives and ensuring Native views and interests are heard in the decision-making process. So I have been with the Commission now a year and a half. It went by really fast, and it's been good to rekindle old friendships and working relationships that I had before, and I've also met and am currently working with some great people. And I always like to say this in honor of my mother and our Tlingit family, that my mother was from Southeast Alaska, from the village of Cake. So I don't know if there are any Alaskans in the room, but there they are. So I always find that refreshing, and it makes me feel better to make mention of that. So the Office of Native Affairs and Policy is housed in the Consumer and Governmental Affairs Bureau. Oh, thank you. Our Bureau Chief is Alejandro Roark, and he has been with the Commission since the change in the administration. So we refer to our bureaus with our acronyms. So Consumer and Governmental Affairs is CGB, and CGB develops and implements the FCC's consumer policies and serves as the agency's connection to the American consumer. So think of a really pretty slide that lists all the different interfaces that CGB has with consumers in terms of the complaint process, but we also include, CGB includes disability rights, consumer education, and outreach to states, local governments, and tribal governments. So a lot of the policy and outreach topics that are handled by CGB actually they affect tribal governments and tribal communities today. So just a couple of quick words on other items that we're involved in are the broadband labeling that you may have heard about in terms of making it simpler to understand your internet or your phone bill. Lifeline and ACP is in Consumer and Governmental Affairs Bureau. And also we have an important role in the digital discrimination deliberations. So there are several topics that I want to touch on today. The ACP wind down, which Godfrey just mentioned, E-rate and Universal Service Fund, and the 2.5 gigahertz wireless tribal licenses. I'll also mention a new initiative on March 15th. The Commission adopted and released, actually they released on March 15th, the Notice of Proposed Rulemaking on the Missing and Endangered Persons Code that I think will have a lot of interest, not just in this room, but nationwide. So that's a quick overview of CGB, and Godfrey mentioned that we have a table right outside the doors over here on the right-hand side. And we also have two presentations coming up, one this afternoon and one tomorrow afternoon on our broadband maps. So the Broadband Data Task Force is here, and so they have two 2-hour sessions. So today's is going to be from 1 to 3, and tomorrow's will be from 3 to 5. And the new and improved program, it makes it easy to find those, so I appreciate everyone's time on that. So from the Broadband Data Task Force, we have Ed Bartholome. I think a lot of you have met him in terms of working with him, sorting out the challenge process and other questions on the map. We also have Ken Akini. He is here also, and he is the ONAP liaison to the Broadband Data Task Force, and he is a member of the ONAP staff. So I encourage you to attend their sessions and bring your laptop because the sessions are going to be interactive. So I'm going to switch over to ACP quickly, and just so you know, Godfrey, I'm going to try and stay on time here. I think I have till 11:05. Okay, I'm going to try and speed up here. Godfrey mentioned the ACP program is winding down. Without action by Congress, it is expected to terminate at the end of May. We're in the current month of full funding for that, including the enhanced tribal benefit. And then in May, some providers will be able to provide a prorated discount, but that is the end of the program until the Congress makes the decision to extend it or, to extend it. And we are encouraging people to look at the Lifeline program if you're not already participating in it. There is an enhanced tribal benefit to that also. So the Lifeline benefit is $9.25 off the cost of phone, internet, or bundled services, and that can be up to $34.25 if the household is on a qualifying tribal land. I feel that the best way to learn more about the Lifeline program is to go to lifelinesupport.org, lifelinesupport.org. And I want to make mention that this afternoon, the USAC, the Universal Services Administrative Company, will be providing a Lifeline listening session, a listening session on the Lifeline program, and that is going to be from 3 to 5, and I encourage you to attend. And USAC is actually their table is across from the FCC table, so they'll hear today and tomorrow, and so that's a great opportunity to learn more about it. I'm going to switch over quickly to the E-rate program that has been a priority of the Commission to encourage more tribal participation in the program, focusing on the tribal libraries. And I've been asked to make mention that E-rate program we understand it's not easy, but it's also not a competitive program. So this year there's over $4.9 billion available in the Lifeline program, the E-rate program, E-rate program. And that's a substantial amount of money. This year it's closed for E-rate, but the next program year will start on July 1st of this year. So since I've been with the Commission, they've made several updates to their policy guidance to encourage tribal libraries to participate. We've also made changes to enable tribal colleges and universities, libraries that serve as a public library for that tribal community, eligible for E-rate. And that's been encouraging to see. And I think the final note on E-rate for tribal libraries is the pilot program is operating again for the second year, and there's increased interest in participation in that, and that's also gratifying to see. And then just two recent actions. One is we put out a call for comment on using E-rate funds to address the homework gap. And then we've also put out a call for comment on allowing universal service funds to be used for a pilot to study funding certain school and library cybersecurity needs. We held a listening session on that in March, and we had some tribal participation, but we could always use more. I'm going to jump to the 2.5 gigahertz tribal licenses, because I've already gotten questions on this. I don't know if these are going to answer them, but just to let you know that it's really great to come to your conferences and learn more about what your needs are. So I have to say that this is all pretty new, so I'm going to have to read some of this. So in the 2.5 gigahertz tribal licenses, to date, 361 licenses have been granted, covering the lands of more than 430 federally recognized tribes and Native Hawaiian communities in 31 states, which is fairly substantial. The message on this one is that the licenses are subject to interim and final performance requirements within 4 and 8 years of initial license grant, respectfully. So that is part of the universal licensing system. And if I had a slide deck, you could see the URL. But this is going to encourage you to come by our booth to learn more about this. So on April 4th, and it must have been last week, we issued a public notice providing further guidance on licensees, including information on performance requirements, licensee notification requirements, and filing instructions. So if you have questions on the 2.5 gigahertz tribal licenses, we encourage you to send an email to ruraltribalwindow@fcc.gov. Just spelled out the 3 words, ruraltribalwindow@fcc.gov. I'm going to keep rolling here, Godfrey. This is actually an update since August. I think that some of you have heard this, that USAC and the FCC now have created a form 481 that tribes can use to find out more about the high cost providers. So in terms of the FCC service provider tribal engagement requirements for those providers that receive high cost support, that include tribal lands, the service provider must demonstrate on an annual basis that it has engaged tribal governments that have tribal lands in the service provider's high-cost supported service areas. So that was a mouthful, again, but it's a requirement that if you're receiving high-cost support and you include some tribal lands, then you have an annual reporting requirement to submit a certification that supports what has occurred. And that's referred to as Form 481. So it's filed, tribal governments can access the annual FCC Form 481 from the high cost program through the online, there's an online filing system. And I think the important part of this is the tribes can request this on their own. You don't have to come to ONAP, you don't have to come to anybody in the commission, but you can go through the process and request the information yourself. And USAC did a training on this perhaps even 6 months ago, or a few months ago. And so I'm encouraging people to visit with the USAC people that are here on that topic. And so just one last important topic and then some final remarks is that, again, on March 15th, the Commission released the NPRM, draft NPRM, on the Missing and Endangered Persons Code. And this is an emergency alert process, and it can be very technical, but the goal is to save lives by creating a system that will expedite the reporting system in case anyone, indigenous or not, falls within a certain age group. And well, it's really based on age because there's an Ashanti system that allows for certain requirements, but right now the Amber codes, which I think we're all familiar with, only goes up to the age of 17. And then we're familiar with the silver alerts, which are for older adults. And so there's a window in there that are not covered. And so our interest in putting out a call for comment on the MEP code is to find out from the public views on what would the code do, how it would be coordinated with state, local governments, and other federal agencies. And we're following up on this due to Native Public Media's interest, and I know that Loris Taylor may be in the room, but she has a session later today or tomorrow. And the National Congress of American Indians adopted a resolution in that past annual convention in November, supporting the creation of a MEP code. So in my year and a half, I feel that I have 3 goals that I want to do: is encourage more tribal comment in the FCC's proceedings. I want to make sure that there are long-standing, good relationships with tribal nations, because as you get funds and build out your networks, there is an interest in all parties to, work together. And in terms of trying to figure out how can we use ONAP and the commission to get more tribal comment, it really is a challenge, and I understand that resources can be a challenge to submit comments. But I really hope that people submit comments on the MEP code. I don't know a single Native person, including myself, that hasn't been touched by what is going on in terms of missing and murdered Indigenous persons. And, it's a very emotional topic. It's something that's unfathomable, but I know that to me it's going to be really important. I am developing a tribal consultation plan, and part of that is going to be like, how do you handle the situation where it's such an emotional issue that I think that we're all looking for an immediate answer, but what the commission is doing is a small step to try and bring together and coordinate the agencies and individuals who can work closely together to create a system that allows for faster notification in seeking and finding endangered individuals. And we'll be releasing a public notice when the consultation plan is approved. I'm hoping that it lasts for, we're trying to do a lot of outreach on it, and we're just waiting for some final approvals on it, and the NPRM has not yet been published in the Federal Register, so I've been looking for that every day, and it hasn't come out yet. And in terms of closing, I just want to say that I always encourage people to go to the ONAP website. You don't have to remember how to spell it. If you go to fcc.gov/native, it will redirect you to our updated website. So fcc.gov/native. And for those of you who receive our email blasts of information, those are amplifying what's going on in the commission. We try and condense it. If a lot of you don't have time to read a 50-page notice of proposed rulemaking, you may not know it was published, but our email blasts are to let you know that it is out there. We print out we make a PDF of every email blast and put it on our website. So if you don't have time to get on our email blast, please go to our website because you'll find them all posted there. And then some other quick announcements is we have some handouts on our booth. We have an upcoming workshop, May 15th in Oklahoma. The Eastern Shawnee Tribe of Oklahoma is hosting us on May 15th. And then finally, we're recruiting for up to 2 individuals to serve as tribal policy engagement specialists. So up to 2 positions on that. So there's a lot going on. I appreciate all your time, and I look forward to meeting more of you. And if I can't answer a question, if none of us at the commission can answer your question here, please let us know and we'll get back to you and coordinate meetings at a later date. So thank you very much, Godfrey.